Wapam, we're back. Prehistoric Planet, Episode 3, Season 2, Swamps. I gotta say, this was the most underwhelming episode for me so far from the first three that we've seen. Um, I think the backdrop for the episode was cool, but just the stories were a little bit long, drawn out, and uneventful for the most part. Again, this is not to crap on the show, it's just like some episodes, like Badlands, were just so good that when I watched this one, I was like, this is kind of a bore. That being said, it was still beautiful. Actually, this opening scene with the Asdar kid getting hunted by the crocodiles, this is, and I've kind of talked about this before, I think the pterosaurs generally in Prehistoric Planet don't look very good. This was definitely one of the better executed pterosaurs in the show, in my opinion. I think it looked really, really beautiful. Maybe that has to do with the fact that it's young, still small, still kind of believable for things that I grew up watching, like Walking with Dinosaurs and I don't know, Jurassic Park and stuff, but like yeah, the feathering on them, the colors look really realistic, really good. But then that crocodilian that lived in the water, one, I want them to go for realism, never not, but they just chose something that looked so similar to like an alligator. It was kind of uneventful seeing it attack, and the CGI, it must be something with the fact that we can see. I mean, everyone's probably gonna agree with me on this, but like it's probably with the fact that we can all kind of see an alligator or crocodilian in real life, whether we go to a zoo or a swamp. Like they still live with us alongside us in the real world. That's why when you see a CGI crocodilian, it kind of doesn't look that good. Like your eyes know that what you're seeing is not real because you've seen it already on camera or in real life before. So yeah, that opening scene, I like the concept of it. It was cool. I like the idea that it was born on an island in a swamp and that it flew away to safety. But it was kind of underwhelming. I don't know. The whole scene was kind of underwhelming to me. It was kind of like, I could have done without this. The next scene introduced one of my favorite dinosaurs we've seen so far, the australor. What a beautiful render of a dinosaur. Just absolutely gorgeous. Felt serious callbacks to Jurassic Park 3's Velociraptors here, with the color scheme on the face of like kind of that black and gray, white and red around the eyes and face. Just beautiful. They took so many moments here too that were just like picturesque snapshot moments that could have been grabbed and used as like a 4K wallpaper on a computer. The eyes, the narrow face. I mean, Australoraptor is one of the coolest dinosaurs there is. It's beautiful, and they obviously talk about the relationship and how it's connected to the Velociraptors in sort of context, just to give like sort of the average viewer what a dromaeosaur raptor dinosaur is kind of like. That being said, absolutely cool, beautiful scene of this little young Ostroraptor trying to get the scraps of fish around. There's a scene, I'm going to try to skip to the time code here. It's around the 10-minute mark, or maybe 11-minute mark. Yeah, 11-minute mark. It's actually at exactly 11 minutes. That foot CGI, it's just remarkable what they're able to do. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm paused looking at it right now. Like, they did the same stuff for me in the first season with the Velociraptor foot, when they had that amazing sort of scene where the Velociraptor's recurved toe was kind of walking on the desert sand or desert cliffs, and here it's in the forest, and oh my god, it's remarkable how much of a real, it looks just like a real animal. The scene lasts for literally 1 second, but exactly at 11 minutes you see this dinosaur foot, and it just looks so unbelievably real. It's like I had to slap myself when I saw it for a second. I was like, did they superimpose a cassowary into here, or like a emu or something? I couldn't tell. I was like, this is unbelievable. They always shock me again and again and again when they do something this well, because I'm like, look at the detail of the wrinkles, the dirt that's trapped in between the toe, and the connecting skin between the toe. Like, that's unreal. That's like, it's just crazy. It never gets old to me when they pull that off. So yeah, this whole Ostroraptor scene, I just loved. I love the colors, the visuals of everything. I love the concept of the story of it kind of getting beat up. Some of the CGI was a little funky here and there, but generally, I really, really, really loved the way that it looked, and I loved the interaction between the dinosaurs in the scene. I think it was super cool, and you kind of get like this little victorious story at the end, with like this little youngster getting his fish that he wanted really bad. We then jump off back to Madagascar. We have this dinosaur that got completely owned by a python in the last episode in Badlands. Now get completely owned by a beetle bufo frog. This This dinosaur is just kind of like the little runt of the whole Mesozoic Madagascar world. Like it just can't hold its own, huh? Um, yeah, the Bezo Buffo, it's cool. This devil frog. I like the colors. It's super realistic. Some of the things that less I enjoyed were like the parts where it was roaring at the sauropods. Like I just like if we're going for realism, let's be completely honest. There's zero scientific like background to support a frog roaring. They maybe croaks and look. I've dealt with plenty of frogs and toads in my life. I've seen them all over the world. I know about bullfrogs and stuff, but then like it's rare that a frog hisses. I just can't imagine a prehistoric frog roaring the way that it did at a sauropod. I think it would just go away. And this sort of like again, I like that they build a story out of the most minute things, and I really do think that the devil frog looks good. I think the sauropods in this last season have been sort of lacking a little bit. Besides the ones we saw from India in the last episode, the sauropods in this scene too were just not the. I think it was called the Reggaeton, something like that. Just not a good looking sauropod at all. I think CGI just looks good, but they basically made them elephants. Like that's essentially what the scene is. It's a bunch of elephants going to bathe in the mud. Like this is a very, very typical thing that elephants do, and even their bodies sort of being super inflated and fat. They made them kind of look just like elephants and behave just like elephants. But I really didn't like the way that they ended up looking. Like they just look not very realistic. I don't know how to explain it. They do such a good job sometimes, and then there's other ones like this where it feels like they don't invest much time in it, and it's unfortunate because the sauropods are so amazing and they should get a little bit more love, but it is what it is. Like I can't complain too much. It still looks beautiful overall. It just but yeah, the scene of the Bezo Buffo sort of comically trying to make it across to hit another pond of water near the sauropods to me was just like, what? That's what we're doing with this guy? Like, let's see him hunt, let's see him kill, let's see him eat with that giant tongue. I think he might still come back at some point in this series, if I remember correctly from the teaser trailer. But yeah, like let's see him do something more interesting than hopping through, like James Bonding this crap through a bunch of sauropods. Like it's not even. I feel like just an animal wouldn't do this. I feel like a frog, even a prehistoric frog, wouldn't jump around with a bunch of sauropods, literally like crouching and stepping. Like why? What urgency was there for it to get to the pond, just to end up hopping out of that pond to go to another pond? If you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it was like overall it was and then we didn't even get the payoff of getting to see a mate or something, or like meet a mate. It just ends. So I don't know. Overall, the Bezo Buffo one, I have my gripes with it. I think it looked beautiful, but yeah, I don't think it was one of the better scenes of Prehistoric Planet. Then we do jump off to, I think, one of the most visually beautiful scenes of this entire series so far, Pachycephalosaurus. In what seems like, again, it's funny that it was called Swamps, but it's like straight up in like an African savanna. I love that this is like the take that they have on like the Midwest of the United States back 66 million years ago. But yeah, the Pachycephalosaurus was just like amazingly executed. The skin covering the top of the head, the color, the sexual dimorphism between the top alpha male here and the rest of the sort of females, and the rest of the people in the herd kind of having that green and red coloring. Just gorgeous, super, super realistic. I love that they basically turned the skull of a Pachycephalosaurus that you will see in any museum where a Pachycephalosaurus skull exists into a realistic dinosaur model. It's beautiful. The fight sequence and the payoff at the end of the alpha winning and claiming his territory and banishing this sort of shithead Pachycephalosaurus that keeps trying to fight everyone was amazing. Also, the actual fight sequence of the way they use their domes and the claws or the horns on the back of their skulls was really, really cool, really well executed. It's something I will not forget. Like, big points to the show for utilizing those horns on the back of the head. You never really think about it with Pachycephalosaurus. Maybe it's display, maybe we don't know. Like, it's not super clear. But the fact that they went through the effort to show them fighting, like head on with the domes, which is something everybody kind of assumes that they did, and then actually fighting with the back horns as well, and you see them sort of grapple and get stuck with each other's horns there is really cool. Like, really, really impressed by that whole scene. One of the better scenes that Prehistoric Planet has put out. The next scene, we're back in North America now. We're sticking around with Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and, of course, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Again, I don't have a problem with T-Rex. It is one of my favorite dinosaurs. It's just, give me more of the stuff that we're not seeing. Give me a whole scene with Rajasaurus, Give me more Rajasaurus rather than, I don't need more T-Rex. Like, and it makes me think because it's like, okay, we had, like, 4 scenes with T-Rex in the last season, and this isn't the end of the T-Rex for this season, right? We have 2 more episodes, and I'm pretty sure the T-Rex is going to be fighting something else, some sort of sauropod or something on the beach. We've already kind of seen that. Or a pterosaur or something. So it's like, we've got what looks like Triceratops or Pseudoceratops with them. And then they're hunting in the dark. It was, I have to say, the scene executed wise, like visually, really, really cool. Really impressive. The T-Rex were actually straight up very creepy and really imposing and scary in this scene. And the way that they pulled off the hunt, killing the Edmontosaurus in the end, was really, really cool. I love that they accentuated the fact that the T-Rex had really, really good vision at night because it had the largest eyes, and kind of breaking the stereotypes, like making a point to break those stereotypes from Jurassic Park. I loved it. I love that they do that. I love that they do that consistently. The hunt scene was also really brutal. It felt real. The struggle between the Edmontosaurus and the T-Rex, and it kind of pushing them away, trying to kind of survive, was really, really beautiful, really cool. But overall, an underwhelming scene in my opinion to end the episode on. It's a dinosaur that we've seen already so many times, and it's like I don't have a problem with the T-Rex. I just kind of don't want to see it anymore. Like, I'd rather see anything else. Like, give me any other predatory carnivore that we have anywhere in the world and focus more on that. But again, I get it, for ratings we've got to focus on it. Like, we've got to do T-Rex, we've got to do Velociraptor. Okay, so we've got him out of the way again. We're gonna go back to the T-Rex again. Like, is it really necessary? Not really, in my opinion. Give me a whole more scene with Dino-Kyrus doing something. Let me see Dino-Kyrus rip shit up. Let me see him fight someone. Let me see him protect his swamp. This would have been a perfect episode for Dino-Kyrus to go into. And we got T-Rex at the end in a forest with the Montosaurus. It's like, you know what I'm saying? We're doing an episode called Swamps. Bring back the Dino-Kyrus. He was already in the wetlands episode. Might as well. Would have been really, really cool to see him sort of fighting or doing anything other than just eating plants and shaking off flies. But yeah, that's just a personal desire. I really do love this show. I love everything that's being put out. And this episode, to me, I think I'm going to really like the upcoming episodes. I think the one with the Nanukasaurus, that scene will probably make or break that episode for me. But I think generally I like seeing dinosaurs in the snow. So I think probably looking up for the next episodes from here. This might have been just the low point of the season. But, we got some wins with the Australor. We got some win with the Pachycephalosaurus. I think those were beautifully executed. Really well done. And overall, this show shines in a lot of moments rather than fails. I just think that this episode overall could have been done a little bit better. But then again, I'm a stupid dinosaur YouTuber and not a production team making incredible content about dinosaurs. So this is just me nitpicking, but being honest with my thoughts. Overall, fantastic episode, like all of them. And I'm really excited for the next episode to see what happens next in just a few hours when I get to unlock that episode and watch it. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe and watch all these coverage that I'm doing of the Prehistoric Planet series. And please become a member on the channel. It goes a long way to supporting me. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.